Good morning and welcome to the 9:30 call here on the 9th of July. There we go, 128 strong. I'm sure folks will still be joining us. It's great to see everybody. We are going to get right to it. If this is your first time joining, welcome. We do this every Monday through Thursday here at the 9:30 call. We're so excited today to have Commissioner Amy Kershaw and Undersecretary Mark Reilly, along with members of the team from the Boston Consulting Group. And we're going to today, if you were on the call yesterday, we went through a lot of the logistics, the website, the landing pages for the task force community conversations. So today we will, excited to hear from the folks who are joining us. And if you have questions, please put them in the chat. And as always, the first question is always to tell us a little bit about you and how you came to be in your current role. And we'd love to hear that, even though both Mark and Amy have joined us. And yes, Hannah, we start the call at 9:33. So I'm glad you made it from the waiting room. So Commissioner Kershaw, I'll turn things over to you.
Great. Thanks so much, Amy. And I think most of you have already heard my journey through state government that landed me in an incredible, fortunate circle for me back at the Department of Early Education and Care. I'm back with all of you. So happy to be here this morning to talk about the task force and the incredible opportunity that this level of commitment across state government provides to the early education and care field, to working families, to our economy. I think we are unique a little bit in the nation in the level of engagement, support, resources, and leadership that are happening. That is both here as well as at the State House from all corners. And this task force presents that kind of opportunity. I know many of you participated in the 9:30 call yesterday, where Amy, thank you so much, and Marissa kind of walked through the details of the task force website. So what we thought we would do today is I'm going to do a quick overview reminder of sort of where the task force came from, what we're hoping to accomplish through the overall kind of task force, how EEC sees the work of the task force and how we're connected to it, what the priorities are. And then I'm going to turn it over to Undersecretary Reilly, who's been leading this work from the Executive Office of Education. I'm going to talk a little bit about the listening sessions and how you can engage, but I think Amy did a lot of that. Mark's going to give you kind of an update on the rest of the overall work of the task force, because there's the listening sessions and then there's work that's happening on a daily basis to move the work of the task force along. So he's going to update you on that. And then we have a fantastic consulting team from both Boston Consulting Group and so Mark will introduce some of those consultants and leaders to you, and then we'll wrap up. I also just want to mention that, sorry, just let me, as we get started, we are recording this call this morning, and it will be on our YouTube channel. And just want to acknowledge, we heard from many family child care providers who we know can't join us necessarily at 9:30 in the morning. So so hello if you're watching the recording, and we have many of the 9:30 calls recorded, and you can find them all on our YouTube channel. So thanks, Amy. Absolutely. And we look forward to engaging with our family child care providers through a number of different avenues in the listening sessions, as well as through the agency. I also wanted to quickly mention that I know some questions came up yesterday about EEC and overall policy. I'm happy to come back and talk to you all about that. Eugenia Soilish will put her email in the chat. And the link to the policy release, so that if there's questions about that or other things, folks can feel free to reach directly out to Eugenia, and we can get some answers to some EC related questions. So just a quick reminder to everyone that on Martin Luther King Day, the governor signed an executive order calling for a whole of government approach to childcare, in recognition that childcare is both a critical educational leveling playing field intervention for our families, for our children, and it is also essential to the economy. So a competitive and thriving economy means people will be able to go back to work, return to work, pursue their economic mobility goals. And we recognize, this administration recognizes, the governor and lieutenant governor, that without a thriving early education and care sector, that our economy is hampered from being as competitive as it can. So this task force is intended to bring together all of state government government to think about how we make childcare and early education more affordable, more accessible, and more available across the state. It is co-chaired by our Secretary of Education, Pat Tutwiler, along with Secretary of Economic Development, Yvonne Howe, and Secretary of Labor and Workforce Development, Lauren Jones. And I think even just the structure of the governance reflects kind of the commitment across state government to view this as education, economic development, and critical to a thriving workforce. In addition to sort of making sure we're supporting our own workforce, the workforce behind the workforce. But it also brings together agencies across state government and secretariats, from public safety to energy and environment, administration and finance, health and human services, veterans affairs, bringing everyone together to really think about the resources that are out there, whether it's in the formal workforce system, whether it's the benefits for our veterans, whether it's how our parks and recreation departments work with our early education and care programs. And I think the real opportunity is to stand on top of so much of the work that's gone, whether it's through the Economic Review Commission, the 930 calls, the work that's happening at EEC right now, and amplify and leverage kind of the resources across state government to bring to bear. So the 5 priorities that have been laid out for this task force include surveying what other states or nations are doing. No need to repeat. If someone else has figured out a piece of this puzzle that we need to tap into, whether it's business partnerships or employer partnerships, or how we increase eligibility, or is there a way we should be doing supporting the stability and financial viability of early education and care programs. I think we have a lot of amazing things happening here, thanks to many of you. And there are probably things we can learn from other states and countries. So we're also, one of the other priorities is making sure that we're working in a cross-agency way. So no matter what agency you're interacting with, is there a way for us to work better together to make childcare more affordable and accessible, whether that's how our family experiences interacting with state government, or how we actually work together to put resources together. We're focused on increasing capacity and affordability, some of the key challenges in the field, and then the top challenge around workforce. So a subcommittee that's really dedicated to thinking about how we support our early education and care workforce to be sustainable, to recruit and retain qualified staff, to make it a meaningful career path, and then really looking at state assets, whether it's facilities and other things that could be brought to bear. So 5 key priorities of the task force, standing directly on top of the work that's already happened and the leadership that has already been provided, the work that is underway at the agency around C3 and reforms to our childcare financial assistance system. So as I joked around with the task force in the first time, somebody asked me, is this work about getting into the business of EEC? And it's really about getting into the business of the other agencies to see what resources and leadership can be brought to bear in the early education and care world for families, for providers, for programs across the state. So we are really focused on sort of fast action. The governor has assigned this task force to get right to work and have some recommendations done by the end of the year. And as with everything we're doing at EEC and across state government right now, it's critical that we do this in concert with those who are delivering the services, who are experiencing the services, who are challenged to find the services across state government. So one of the key pieces of work the task force is engaging in is these 12 listening sessions that I know Amy talked about. I think we will put in the chat, we have a deck that we did not want to share today, but we'll share with you, Amy, so you can share with this group that kind of more eloquently talks about what I'm sharing today and put some of the details. I know all of you have seen the websites. You can sign up for one of our 12 listening sessions. So the goal of listening sessions is really to hear from folks in the community. It's early education care providers, it's families, it's local business leaders, it's folks who are engaging with the system or finding a challenge with a part of the system that's not working for them, or maybe it's coming out and talking about some of the strengths and things that we want to amplify and increase across the state. So what are the biggest challenges? What are the biggest opportunities? How might we identify new solutions? There are 12 sessions. I think 7 of them are in person. 5 of them will be virtual in the evenings and on weekends, so folks can participate at times and locations that make the most sense for them. I believe our Secretary of Education and the other co-chairs, I know the Secretary is going to be at every single one of the listening sessions, which reflects his commitment to this work. I will also be at all but one. And I think the other co-chairs will also be there as well. The staffing and support for this work is happening both from EEC, and many of the talented staff are here on the call and participating in the subcommittees and will be at the listening session. So your friends and colleagues across EEC. We're also getting support from the Executive Office of Education. And again, we're going to introduce you to the consulting team, who's also providing really important logistical and content support for the task force. So I'm going to stop there and turn it over to Mark and just say, I want to thank you all for engaging with this. We look forward to hearing from you. The sessions will be about 2 hours long. There'll be an introduction that'll be provided by one of the co-chairs. There will be then at least 90 minutes for us to hear from community members who have signed up to attend, and there will be opportunities at the sessions themselves to sign up to actually speak. So you can come and listen yourself, or you can come and speak. And the virtual ones will also have an option to be able to sign up to testify and speak. And then there'll be a short closing. All of the information that we gather from these listening sessions will inform the recommendations and the broader strategy around early education and care in the Commonwealth. The department itself will be kicking off a new 5-year strategic plan in the fall, as per our statute, and much of this information will help form the foundation for that. So we are looking forward to all of you participating. We're looking forward to you sharing it with your colleagues. We're looking forward to hearing from folks outside the early education and care sector about how they can best support this work and where they see opportunities, strengths, and challenges. So I look forward to seeing you all out there. And Mark, I think I'll turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Commissioner. And hello, folks. It's awesome to be back on the 9:30 call. And not a day goes by where I don't think of you all and wish I could hang out with you more. So let me first just share my appreciation for the support that we're receiving from Boston Consulting Group and Neighborhood Villages. I have to say, and I'm thrilled to have a chance to introduce some of their key leaders to you all. I know you all know the Neighborhood Villages folks yourself, but their assistance has been absolutely tremendous. They've hit the ground running. Or maybe I'll say a few more words about them after they introduce themselves. So we'll start with the BCG team leaders, and I'll kick it over to Lisa first for her to introduce herself, and then kick it over to her other team members, and then we'll head over to the Neighborhood Villages crew.
Amazing. Thanks, Mark. And it's so wonderful to meet all of you. I'm Lisa Vera-Weiss. I'm a managing director and partner with BCG in our Boston office. I work with state health and human services agencies mostly. Was the acting secretary of Health and Human Services in Rhode Island. I did quite a bit of work on early childhood and childcare there, was co-chair of the children's cabinets. And so it's really meaningful to be a part of this effort. I'm a former Massachusetts and had my daughter in an infant and toddler childcare in the Boston area for a couple of years. And so very, very much appreciate the work that you all do. Really look forward to continuing to support and hopefully meeting many of you at these upcoming listening sessions. And I will pass it over to Nicole DeSantis from our team.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole DeSantis. I'm a partner at Boston Consulting Group and a leader in our education, employment, and welfare practice area. My focus is on early care and education, primarily working with public and social sector organizations. I've co-authored several BCG publications on the care economy, trying to come up with more national solutions, but we know that we're still sort of slowly making progress there, and was so impressed that Massachusetts has made this commitment and other states will be watching what you all do here. So excited to be a part of this work and really looking forward to meeting folks in person and virtually over the next month through these listening sessions and integrating your feedback into the work of the task force. So thank you for having us here, and I will hand it to Emily.
Wonderful. Good morning, everybody. My name is Emily Keeley, and I am a project leader in BCG's Boston office with some experience across both workforce topics and in education more broadly. And want to echo what my colleagues were saying just around our level of excitement, enthusiasm for supporting this work and really hearing from you all, especially in the coming weeks. And with that, I will pass it over to our Neighborhood Villages colleagues.
I can kick us off. Lauren Kennedy, co-founder of Neighborhood Villages. So great to be with you all. And we're so excited to be supporting the task force and partnering with BCG on this project. I think many of you know us as both practitioners in the field and also a team of policy and data analysts. So we're excited to be partnering with you all on this. And I will kick it to Elizabeth Lewant.
Hi, everybody. I'm Liz Lewant. I'm the Chief of Policy at Neighborhood Villages, and I don't have much to add about our excitement to work on this project or what Neighborhood Villages do, but I will just say we are really looking forward to what comes out of the task force and getting to work with everyone and hear everyone's ideas at these listening sessions. And I will send it over to Amherst.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you again. Amherst Kinney, I'm the Director of Research at Neighborhood Villages and supporting this work. I'm very happy to be doing that. I'll kick it back to Mark unless anyone is missing.
I think that's our crew. Thank you so much, team. And let me first just say how much I'm grateful for the incredible philanthropic community that we have in this state who cares deeply about early childhood education, who have made this dream team possible to come work with us on this issue and in this work. I'll just be transparent and honest with you all to tackle the breadth of work that we're trying to do in this less than 1 year period is significant. It's dramatic. It's an incredible amount of work to go deep, to be considering, other state and other nations' approaches to early childhood, to gather the multiple working groups that we have going on, and I'll say, Emily and Nicole in particular, they are getting texts from me at all hours and responding. Like, there's so much happening and I'm interested to share more with you, but just really grateful for the philanthropic community's support to bring this range of talent, intelligence, and determination to come do this work with us. So super grateful. In terms of what the work is, so we have, of course, been spending quite a bit of time planning these listening sessions, and you just heard about them, and I know you spent time with Amy yesterday on them as well. One thing I'll mention too is that we are mindful of wanting to capture some folks from the Springfield area, and I've heard the feedback about Berkshire's and Worcester, a little bit of a hike. So we are working on adding another date. It will likely be in the first week of August to make it even easier for folks. If you can't catch one of those other locations or catch one of the virtual sessions, we'll have one in the Springfield area as well for you. So stay tuned for those. We'll add that in and just make sure it's a little easier for folks to participate. So big picture, some of the other things that are going on, I know we're short on time, so I'll be quick and leave room for questions. First of all, that focus on some of the other states and what they're doing is an important component of this work. We've already had a research fellow dig into a number of states and get us started in that work. We're continuing that analysis. It's also one of the strengths of the BCG team in that they've advised other states with respect to their early childhood approaches, so they're able to lean on some of that knowledge and relationship building that they have in other states to help us understand that. On the international front, as some of you know, other nations have far advanced and stepped ahead of where the United States has been in terms of investing in early childhood and making a commitment there. And so we're determined to really learn and understand those approaches from those leading nations. And we're thrilled to be able to add the assistance of the Harvard Institute of Politics students. We actually have 17 students who are working right now going through gathering information about each of the approaches of many of the leading nations in the world as to how they're approaching early childhood. And we've also, just as an example, we had an opportunity to sit down with the Canadian national government's leading early childhood folks a couple weeks ago to learn about their approach. And as some of you may have heard, you've heard about maybe Quebec province in particular. They've been in this work for actually a couple decades, sort of on the leading edge of that. But Canada is working hard to provide early childhood services in an affordable way at high quality for a good period of time now, and that their national government has now really staked a claim to try to make that system affordable for everyone in their entire nation. So we're really, we want to take advantage, of understanding everything that's happening around the globe and in each of the states. And of course, we also need, to apply what we're learning to the details in the circumstances that are actually going on here in Massachusetts. What's feasible here, what might actually work. And so that's why these listening sessions are so important. Our administration believes firmly that the strongest public policy is made and informed by the people who are doing the work every single day. And that's exactly why your participation in these sessions over the next month or so is so critical. And I know from being in your seats, not that long ago, that people are tired and they feel like they've said and shared, information multiple times, over the years. And I understand that and we get that. But my appeal to you is that this is a unique opportunity to have the entire cabinet, the entire state government focused on early childhood right now, and to have an opportunity to share your observations, your perspective, your recommendations on what the administration should be considering to add into its future investments and suggestions and submissions to whether it's the budget or through bills to send over to the legislature. We desperately need your input and your participation now because we need all of those cabinet secretaries and their top staff hearing directly from you. So, all right, I will stop there. There's so much more to share about what the team's been up to, but that'll have to do for now with time being short. And I'll kick it over to Amy to host any questions we might have coming in.
Mark, 3 minutes on the 9:30 call is a lifetime. Just want to welcome Secretary Tutwiler, who's snuck in to the 9:30 call. It's great to see you, Secretary. Amy and Mark did a great job, but just wanted to give you a minute to say hello for folks maybe who haven't had the chance to see you in person, which I can't imagine there are many.
Well, thank you so much, Amy, and good morning to everyone joining this morning. Good morning to my colleagues, Commissioner Kershaw and Mark Reilly. I just caught the tail end, Mark, of your comments, and I know Commissioner Kershaw did a deep dive on what we're planning to do here with these listening sessions. Amy, as you said, if you haven't seen them before, trust me, you will if you attend any one of the sessions, because I'm going to be at all of them. And I very much look forward to listening and learning from what the community really feels is top of mind as we attempt to take some really substantive steps forward in this sector. So I just wanted to take a quick moment and say hello, and I'm glad to be with you here this morning.
Thanks so much, Secretary. And as always, if folks want to share some love and appreciation in the chat for all this work, it's coming through. I think, Mark, you acknowledge, we have been asking the people who've been doing this work kind of for their input and feedback for decades. And so as you think about in the last minute, what would be the most helpful? We also know that this is an administration that has been listening, that has been making policy change, that understands the nitty-gritty, especially, one change here results in implications over here. So Amy and Mark, as you're thinking about feedback of what would be most helpful Can you say a few things about that?
Well, at least my first instinct in response is we want to hear whatever it is that's on your mind. We're not asking for some specific feedback. We don't have some, I don't know, planned strategy in advance that we have this whole thing worked out and we're going to do X, Y, Z regardless of the input. No, we absolutely want your perspective now in this moment. You know, what are the obstacles that you have been facing? What are the policy proposals or items to consider that we ought to be considering, that you should hear, that each of our task force members should hear all of that information. So yeah, nothing's telegraphed here. We want to hear directly what's on your minds and what you think we ought to be doing to help support the system. But I'll defer to my other colleagues for more on that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think we want to hear what's on your mind, but I also would say that for those of us who are steeped in early education and care, this is kind of a unique opportunity to work with folks from all of the other secretariats who don't know about the benefits of early education, the strength of our system, the economic development power of our programs within the communities. So I think it is also a real opportunity for us to share with our colleagues from across different secretariats about the power of the work that you do and some of the challenges that you face and some of the solutions or interventions that you think could really strengthen your work, the work of your teachers that are in your classrooms every day, or the educators that are in your programs, and support families in a greater way. So I would love to hear you all talking about the power of the work that you do, the power of those who are working in your programs, and the importance of supporting this sector for a strong economy. And then anything we can do to be solution oriented, things that you think work, things that you think are working in one place that we should try somewhere else, or other challenges that you think need to be taken on now as a way to support our sector. We'd be interested in hearing all of that. But I do think it is an opportunity for folks to learn more about what you do every day and its impact on kids' families and the economy.
Thanks so much. One of the lessons learned from the 9:30 call has been what Marissa Fear has coined, this unfiltered advocacy, right? Like, not to speak from the talking points or be so polished, but really talk from experience, especially your lived experience of the work that you're doing. And I think to Amy's point, this intersectionality, right? This is not just a task force headed up by education. This is kind of a cross-sector task force, and that's a huge opportunity. Keep the love and appreciation coming in the chat. We did have 154 people on the call this morning, which is not bad for a hot day. We did record this call, so it will be available on our playlist, especially if you're on Facebook and the groups. Please make sure we share this far and wide. There have been some comments about people who have gone into different signups and just some glitches there. So I'm sure you'll continue to get feedback. We know what it's like to stand up a website with all those different dates and all those logistics. So we appreciate that. And I guess if folks have other comments or thoughts, you can certainly go right to EEC and to Mark, or we're happy to also collect. Neighborhood Villages is here. So, we'll keep the feedback coming. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this morning. Keep coming to the 9:30 call. Tomorrow, we're going to get ready for the 2024 election. So that will be exciting. So have a great day and thanks for joining us, and we'll stay on for a bit so folks can continue to add some thoughts in the chat. Have a great day.
Thanks for having us, Amy.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Amy.